Hi guys, thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, my name is Linn. Thank you for stopping by. So today's video is going to be all about color correcting, how to apply it, which products to use, and what it really is. So as you can see, I don't have like any contour on, I don't have a blush, I don't have highlights, I don't have anything like that. I wanted to focus all in the color correcting process, and I only have foundations in my cheek area, a little bit on my nose, and also on my chin, so I don't have a lot of foundation. And as you can see, you can do amazing things with color correcting. Like before I learned this stuff and tried it out, I was like all about that full coverage foundations and a lot of powder, and everything had to be like matte and flawless. So after I learned these tips and tricks, I'm now feeling confident, and I think that I can go out with only color correcting. I don't need to put on a foundation necessarily. So to start off, you've probably seen this circle a million times before, especially if you had art in your school. But this circle is very important when it comes to makeup in general. Like if you want to embrace your eye color or anything, you just have to see what is the opposite color. So pretty much the same things goes to color correcting as well. If you want to correct some dark circles or blue tones in your skin, you should use anything like orange and pink and reds and stuff are very, very great for that. And if you want to color correct red, I will recommend to use yellow, but many people use green as well. So I'm just going to show you an example like this green color, which you can find in a lot of color correcting products, are not in this circle. Like this is too white and it contains a lot of white pigment, which will make your skin appear more gray and you can look very gushy and not good at all. And especially if you are very tanned, you should stay away from like pale light colors like these ones. So now let's talk a little bit about which color corrects what, because there's so many palettes out there and so many different colors, and you've probably seen like every single brand has probably come up with a color correcting palette or like the concealer things, and there's so many products out there. There's even powders now. So if you want to neutralize something pink or red, I would definitely recommend to use a yellow toned. So you have a bunch of different yellow tones, and it can be very hard to kind of find the perfect yellow tone, but it all comes down to what your skin type is and which skin shade you have. So if you are very tanned, I would recommend to use a bright yellow. But if you're a lot more paler like me, I personally love to use this concealer. This is from L'Oreal. This is the perfect match in the shade Ivory, and I am obsessed with this. So this covers well, and it also has a yellow pigment which will neutralize redness. This is the one that I've used on all my redness in my face, and I also use the one from NYX a little bit, which is the NYX HD Correcting Concealer. But this can be a little too bright if you are very pale, and it can also be very drying. So if you have a spot going on here and you apply this product, you may have some cracked skin around and it wouldn't look that appealing. I also have this one from Urban Decay right here. But this one is a little bit too light in my opinion. So this will highlight instead of neutralize. And so I like to mix this up with a darker yellow. Like you can use the yellow in this palette right here. This is a perfect combination. So that was what color to use if you want to correct pink and red tones in your skin. Another color that are very popular for correcting redness is the green color. I personally stay away from it. Using a green color can make you appear a lot more grayer and your skin can look not flattering. So I stay away from the green color, and especially these minty colors like I talked a little bit about in the intro. But with the white pigment you will appear gray, and then you have to color correct that again, and then you have to add concealer and foundation, and the whole point of color correcting is a waste. So just keep that in mind. Of course you can try it out and you can see if it works for you. Probably if you are a bit tanner. Hopefully that will help and you will not get that gray look. You can do exactly the same thing with the yellow tone, as you can see, and especially when we go over to the demo. So the next shade we have in this palette is the purple one, and this will neutralize yellow and orange. So especially, I know that a lot of people from Asia, they tend to have that yellow tone to their skin. And a purple color or a purple primer would be amazing for you. So if you don't like that yellowy, orangey skin tone, you can just add a little bit of purple. A purple color is perfect to cover up the yellow parts of a bruise as well. So definitely a great one, but I may think that this is also a little bit too white, but it's hard to find the perfect color correcting colors because there are so many out there. So I personally bought this palette just because of this peachy salmon shade right here, and this is great if you want to cover up under eye circles or dark like blue inner corners and blood vessels and veins and stuff. This salmon color is perfect for that, especially if you are pale. So if you are tanned, I would probably go over to a more bright orange color or like mix some colors together. So the more tanned or darker skin tone you have, the more of a bright orange you need. So this is perfect if you are my skin tone. This would probably help if you are a little bit tanner, but I would rather go even more orange, especially if you have a dark skin tone. So also quick, just wanted to mention this one from Urban Decay. This is a color correcting concealer as well, and this is in the shade pink. And I thought when I first bought this that I had found the perfect color correcting color. So I tried this on and it was too bright, like it didn't do anything else than highlight. So this is probably perfect if you want to kind of just highlight your inner corners, but this wouldn't necessarily neutralize anything. And especially if you're going to use this in other parts of your face, I wouldn't use this. So if you're very pale, these two may be perfect for you, but as you can see, they are so incredible light that they're kind of not doing anything. If I was supposed to add this on a spot, I would have to go over with a concealer or a foundation to really get rid of that highlight effect, because that wouldn't look flattering. And that was pretty much what I wanted to tell you before we get into demo. But I also wanted to mention that when you are color correcting, be sure to add a little product as possible, because you can always build it up. And don't overdo it. Like I've seen a lot of tutorials on YouTube, they are putting like the orange color all the way around to correct dark circles. But if you don't have dark circles, don't do it, and don't put it all over, because if you have any redness as well under your eye, as well as the purple or blue shade, you will only highlight and make it stand out even more, which is not appealing. So that was pretty much what I wanted to talk to you about. So now let's just jump into the demo. So as you can see, I have a lot of redness in my skin right here. And you can see that I have some spots going on and some blemishes, and also a lot of redness on this side as well. So now when it comes to color correcting, as I said in the intro, it is all about trying to add as little product as possible to get that flawless, natural looking result. So to cover up all the redness that I have in my skin, I like to go in with a yellow base concealer. Like you have probably seen, like all these kits, they all tend to have some yellow in them. So I sometimes love to use the one from NYX, which is the yellow color correcting concealer. But this can also be a bit drying because it's not that hydrating. So you will, after a short amount of time, see that it's kind of cracking up around and it wouldn't look that natural and flawless. So the thing that I'm going to use to cover up all my redness is the L'Oreal Perfect Match Concealer in the shade Ivory. I love this because it has a little bit of that yellow tone to it, which I am obsessed with. So I am going to mix these two to get rid of all the redness in the face. So to start off, I'm just going to add a little bit of this NYX corrector concealer on my hand right here. And then I'm going to use a brush from Real Techniques. You can decide which brush you want to use. It is like totally up to you, but I personally love to use like more fluffy brushes and not like very hard concealer brushes, because that can drag the product away. The less product you use, the easier it will sink into the skin and really stay in place. So I'm just carefully dabbing, I'm not dragging or anything. And then also remember to build it up carefully with small layers instead of just adding a ton of product, because the less product we put on, the more natural it will look and the less foundation you need to put on top if you do this correctly. And I also sometimes love to go in with my finger as well, just to kind of dab it carefully. I'm barely touching. So now I'm going to add a little bit of this L'Oreal concealer onto my hand, and then we're going to work it into the skin. So for this process, I'm using this Jessup brush right here. I personally love to use brushes like these ones because they are so fluffy. They're so easy to kind of buff with. So I'm going to do half of my face first. So I'm just putting on some product and then I'm carefully dabbing it around to make sure that everything sinks into the skin. And I also love to go in with my finger here as well, because it's a lot faster and the coverage will look very flattering. And now that I'm going to work around my nose, it is important to remember to also put a little bit under your nose as well, and also in this area right here. Especially me, I am sometimes very dry around my nose area right here, so hair peeling is very, very important. If you peel correctly and use a very good moisturizer before you do this, it will look so much better, you guys. This will take you a little bit of time, but as I said, it will be so worth it because you don't have to like put a huge layer of foundation on top as well. So you can only color correct the areas that you want to correct, and then you can go out and look fab all day, which is great. So now I have done half of the face. I'm starting to be satisfied with how it looks from this side to this side right here. But you can already see how huge of a difference this color correcting thing does, and especially with the concealer, because the concealer has the perfect coverage as well. But the thing here is to find a concealer that really matches your face and your neck, and be sure that it has a yellow tone to it as well. And then this incredible red area right here. So I'm just dabbing and dabbing and dabbing and dabbing. So if you are going to use a full coverage foundation, you don't need to like cover up every single redness. But this is a routine that I use when I don't want to put on a foundation and I still want my face to look like natural and flawless at the same time. So this is a great way just to cover up what you want to correct. So now we're going to work on the eyes to color correct the eyes. And what I'm going to use today is this salmon color right here from NYX. This is their color correcting palette. I love this. So what this shade does is that it's going to correct blue tones and purple tones in the skin. And especially for me, I only have like very blue parts in my inner corners right here, because this is where the skin is the thinnest. So I tend to get very blue there, but I don't have like dark circles or anything, so I'm not going to put anything under my eyes. Like, I'm just going to work this in my inner corners right here. And the reason why I'm not going to put this anywhere else is that if you are putting a pink shade on top of an area that are red, you will only highlight that color and make it stand out even more. And we don't want to highlight the redness in the skin. So in the tutorials that I've seen here on YouTube, people are putting on so much color correcting products, but they are doing it that way to cover up dark circles and stuff, and that is totally the wrong way if you don't have very dark circles. And especially if you are like me, I'm having some redness under my eyes, I would never ever put a pink shade to highlight that area. So now I'm going to conceal my under eye. So I'm just going to do one eye and then we can see if we can see some results. And here for the eyes, I love to use my fingers because then we are really getting into the lash line. So we can cover up everything possible. And also here I'm just adding a tiny amount and then I'm going back and I am building it up. I'm also going to add some concealer to my lid right here. And now you can see that I have concealed this eye right here and I haven't concealed this eye. And in the mirror I can see a huge difference. I can see that I look a lot more awake compared to this one, which is kind of hanging and it is a bit red, especially here in my lower lash line. But I am also a bit red and sore because at school we did liner today, so I had to like take it off about 5-6 times, different liners. So this is the amount of concealer that I would put on my eyes if I am going for a natural look. We don't want to make the triangles or brighten up the under areas because this is going to look as natural as possible just by color correcting. So I wouldn't like add a ton of product because the more concealer you put on, the harder it is to really make it sink into the skin, and it will also kind of fade away and drag away and it wouldn't stick on, and you need to set it with a powder, and once you set it with a powder you will get that matte finish. And when you get that matte finish, it doesn't look anything natural at all. It just looks flat and matte, which is not the point of this video right here. So now I'm just going to do my eye makeup and put on some lashes and a lipstick, and then I will be right back. So now I've just finished my eye makeup and also put on some lipstick. So I still can see a little bit of a redness around my nose. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the L'Oreal concealer, which we just used, and also in the forehead and also a little bit here on the spots that I don't like. Then I can see some little areas peeking through right here. And then we have this red little guy right here, which never seemed to go away. So when you're going to fill in your spots or any like acne, you can put your brush upwards like this and kind of like carefully damp it on, because then you will get like products all around in this spot. If you're kind of like doing this, you will not come through like every single place, but if you hold your brush like this, you will also place some products on top. So I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of foundation. As you can see, I'm using the Revlon Color Stay foundation, and then I'm going to place a little bit on my cheeks right here because there is where I am the most red. So adding a little more coverage here will really help this look right here. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. Just a tiny amount. So if you really want a full coverage, don't use a beauty blender. I would then go and use a brush, a synthetic brush, because you will apply a lot more product. But if you want that natural look, a beauty blender is perfect. So yeah, I'm not going to add any powders or anything now because I'm satisfied with the look. I'm not going to contour because I wanted to show you how incredible color correcting can be if you use it the correct way, and also if you use the right products as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two about color correcting. And when that's been said, thank you so much for watching, you guys. Also be sure to check out my giveaway that I have going on. I will announce the winner at my 25th birthday. I can't believe that I'm turning 25, but that's a whole other story. Be sure to check out the giveaway. I will leave a link down below. Also, if you enjoyed this video or learned something, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you still haven't. And be sure to click on the little bell so you will get notified every time I upload a new video. And when that's been said, thank you so much for watching once again. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!